Happy Friday, Coyotes! I hope that you had a wonderful week. I'm so proud of all the work that you're putting in by reading Charlotte's Web, answering the questions on the Ed puzzle, and doing your Diary of a Pig. I hope it's really fun for you. I think it's fun. So today we are going to summarize Chapter 3 events. You are more than welcome to follow along with me. I'll show you my Chapter 3 Diary of a Pig example, and then you guys will do your own. So let's dive into Chapter 3 events. This is a very eventful chapter. I was sitting on the edge of my seat reading this chapter. It's called Escape. Wilbur's new digs are pretty sweet. Uncle Homer's barn is huge, filled with fun barn stuff like ladders and rope and full of warm places to relax and enjoy the day. Every day, Fern comes to visit Wilbur. In fact, she comes so often that all the animals get used to her and start to trust her. During her visits, Fern sits on a milk stool and looks into Wilbur's pen. She's not allowed to take Wilbur out of his pen or climb in there with him. This means Wilbur doesn't get to go on stroller rides or go swimming anymore. But at least he and Fern still get to see each other every single day. On one particular day, Wilbur heads outside to enjoy a bit of sunshine. Fern isn't there yet, so he's pretty bored. But here's the crazy thing that happens. We hear Wilbur's first thought, and it goes like this. There's never anything to do around here. Actually, Wilbur is so bored that he talks out loud to himself all about how there's just nothing to do but walk in and out of his little barn space. But then something happens that's about to make Wilbur a lot less bored. He hears a voice that says, "That's where you're wrong, my friend, my friend." And who is the giver of this little nugget of insight? A very resourceful goose. The goose tells Wilbur that he can get out of his fence if he just pushes on one of the loose boards. Wilbur does. And he's free! Yippee! But now that he's free, Wilbur doesn't quite know what to do with his newfound liberty. The goose has some advice. Jump, dance, and do whatever you want. Sounds like a good plan. So Wilbur does a little twirl. Yep, this pig not only talks, but dances too. Then he heads over to an apple tree to enjoy one of his favorite pastimes, digging his snout into the ground. But the fun can't last forever. Mrs. Zimmerman sees that the pig is loose and sets off the alarm. Before you know it, Uncle Homer, Lurvy, a man hired to help on the farm, and even the family Cocker Spaniel are chasing down Wilbur. All the animals in the barn have heard of Wilbur's escape and are eager to watch the chase. Poor Wilbur doesn't know what to do. Should he run? Stay? Do a jig? He's so bewildered that he's wondering why on earth he broke the fence in the first place. Or broke through the fence in the first place. Homer, Lurvy, and the Cocker Spaniel start going for Wilbur. So he's stuck dodging arms left and right. To make it all even more confusing, the animals are shouting contradictory advice from the barn. Some say go uphill, others down. Some say dance, some say spin. It's a regular kerfuffle. The chase comes to an end when Mr. Zimmerman whips out a pail of slop. The slop is a mix of milk, old breakfast cereal, and leftover food. Ew, right? But Wilbur thinks the slop has the most heavenly smell ever. So Wilbur follows Mr. Zimmerman and his pail back to the pen. The whole time the goose is shouting to Wilbur that it's a trap, but he couldn't care less. All he wants is some nice comforting food, especially since Fern isn't there. Back in the pen, Wilbur is happy again. He's full. Homer is scratching his back with the stick, and Lurvy and Homer are talking about what a swell pig Wilbur is. Perhaps life inside the pig pen isn't so bad after all. All right, guys, great summary. Let's take a look at my example diary entry. April 24th, 2020. Dear Diary, I just moved into a new home. Bye-bye apple tree and hello to Uncle Homer's barn. I'm glad that Fern visits me each day, but we don't get to do our fun activities anymore. I'm starting to get sad and lonely. I did meet a goose who gave me some bad advice. I knew I shouldn't have listened to him. He said leaving my pen would be fun and games, but it was terrifying. I never felt so alone in my whole entire short life. Love, Wilbur. All right, guys, that's my example. I want you to do your own example. Don't forget those juicy details. And don't forget our tip. Let's keep this page paused on the YouTube video so that if you're not sure or if you forget what happened in the chapter, you can go back and refresh your memory. You can also even go back into your Charlotte's Web book as well, or even re-listen to the Edpuzzle. But when typing your diary entry, don't forget to pretend to be Wilbur the whole time. That's the point of view you're taking on. Don't forget to describe some of the events. This was a very exciting chapter. There's a lot to write about here. Don't forget to describe Wilbur's feelings. He has a couple different feelings throughout this chapter. And finally, check your spelling and punctuation. Today is Friday, and you normally do get 2 days to complete your Charlotte's Web reading and your Charlotte's Web writing. So you'll have today, Friday, and also Monday to complete the Diary of a Pig and the Edpuzzle. All right, guys, I can't wait to read your diary entries. Have a great weekend.